Ding ding, connect the dots, and welcome to yet another edition of Connect the Dots, a podcast that brings people from various walks of life to talk to us about their progress in life, where they started from, the journey that they've gone through to attain whatever success they've been able to attain at the end of the day. And today we went all out to bring you a senior advocate of Nigeria. I think I would not do justice by just calling the name, so I will stick at the SAN, that's the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. It's someone that has just traversed all angles of the law and practice in Nigeria, starting with a secondary school in Kano State, going through Polytechnic and going through degree, BUK, University of Benin, and every other universities or other level of education attained in the course of practicing law. Welcome to the podcast. I don't know what to call you, but I just know that you're a senior advocate of Nigeria, and I would love you to just apparently tell us how to call you.
You call me Sunusi Musa.
All right. So we're together with Madam Sunusi Musa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, conferred with this honor in September 2022. That's after serving meritoriously and giving back to the society in terms of humanity, human rights, and practicing the law. Getting to certain stages that you know someone won or got to a logical conclusion, a case or more than 7 cases in the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, 25 other lower court cases and all that. So when you talk about law practice in Nigeria, it's a tedious kind of job, starting with even studies. I know it's really tedious in Nigeria because you need to do a lot of readings. What was your motivation to even study law in the first place?
Well, let me say, I don't like the qualification in Nigeria. I don't know anywhere in the world where I study law or any other course that is not tedious actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so whatever you study, wherever in the world is tedious because and not only law, I think so. Let me put it that way. But like you said, my motivation to read law, I think it was scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah, people get to wonder, and I think this is why maybe I'm one of the advocates that if we want to get the excellence out of our schools, we must run away from saying that the education at the post-secondary school level should be free. No. The policy of Kano state government to stop giving scholarship to courses like mass comm, that's what made me to go for law.
Okay.
And actually my ambition was to become a journalist. Unlike those other people that are now journalists who wanted to become lawyers. And they end up becoming journalists because they didn't get admission to read law and they went and opted for mass comm. So I think either 2096 or 97, the then government of Colonel Mohammed Abdullahi Wasi, which now as we grow we've come to realize that because of the paucity of funds, decided to say that okay, there are courses that we cannot give scholarship, courses like mass comm, many other courses which I know. Then I said I'm be realist that I doubt if I can be able to go through the university without the scholarships.
Okay.
Then I opted to go for law.
Wow. So that was the motivation. It was just because okay, the scholarship. So going through law in Nigeria, I know because you read more books. I think apparently apart from medicine students and some other courses that takes longer to study, I know law is one of those courses that you read a lot of books. So does your scholarship cover all of that, or you need to?
No, it did not cover books actually, but we are lucky that there are books in the library, so you can go and read those books in the library. And when you go to also law school, they give you some of the course materials. Then the lectures that are very tedious actually. Law school is one of the most difficult school I think someone can attend. So that one is something that I just don't like to remember actually. It's very difficult, but Alhamdulillah, we have the books there, and I think with some of the money I bought some of the books while we were in university, and some I borrowed, and some I got a dash.
I think at that time maybe it's easier to get books in the library and updated books than now, I would say.
I think now it's easier because now that we have the internet.
Yes.
It's easier for you to get so many materials than that time when internet was not as how it is now, and we don't even have access to smartphones anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it was much more like, okay, there are books readily available in place of the internet at the time.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, it was not like that the library was up to date. No.
Oh.
But what I'm saying, for me, for those who want to read any course now, I think it is much more easier for them now to read. And like I said, I think the government will have to look at either of the two. Either because really the government cannot be able to continue funding the tertiary education. Okay, I think one of the things that I think the government can do is to now encourage virtual learning.
Okay.
Because most of those that have finished secondary school, they have access to smartphones. So the money you will spend in building more classes or complaining that the classes are jam-packed with students, you can be able to have more lecturers and create content like we have now in the National Open University. I think if we can do that, we make it more easier. Then the student now will have to learn to read more instead of saying that you must gather them at one place. That will reduce the cost of
funding.
Yes, and it will
education.
give access to more people to go to the higher institution for those who want it. But like I said, for me, the government had no business in financing education of those who go and finish with third class. All those, the government
absolutely
had no business, because that money could have gone into financing the education of those who need basic education. What we need is for the government to give people qualitative basic education. For me, from primary to secondary school, the government must give him access to qualitative and basic education in such a way that nobody will have any excuse for him to go to school. Nobody will have excuse of not sitting for SSC and NECO. The government should be able to pay for every person who is sitting for NECO. Through UBEC, yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So considering the fact that law wasn't the first choice that you want to study, how did you run through the program?
Well, it's easy now because, like I told you, when I applied for university admission, I already wanted to read law. So it was before I go to university that I had the ambition of becoming a journalist, and I think that was influenced by my listening to radio that time, where I got to, I think I know I can count most of the reporters of Radio Nigeria Kaduna all over the country. I know them. I listen to the news. I listen to most of the program. People like Gali Sadiq, Haruna Ali Hadeja, Muhammad Aminu Kelechi, Yusuf Abubakar, many of them. I know them that time.
Awesome.
Okay,
that was what.
Yes, and I like most. As a child, that was even when I was in primary school. You now begin to have an idea of, I want to be like this. I want to be a reporter. But as God will have it, I ended up becoming a lawyer.
Yeah, so the journey into practicing law in Nigeria, because you already gave like a tidbit into the tedious way you go through the law school, and so let's not go back into that. Practicing law in Nigeria, after you graduated from the uni, where did you start practicing law from? And what was the process like for you?
I used to tell people I employed myself in a law firm, A.A. Umar Oku. It's a firm owned by late Ali Umar SAN. I was sent there for my law office attachment, me and other people. By that time, he was already a commissioner for justice in Kano State, so he was not there. But we are lucky, two of the partners, those who were running the office that time, were lecturers at the Nigerian Law School. So we did our attachment, then we finished. Then when we graduated and having our when we were posted for service, I was posted to Jigawa State, and I was posted to a place that virtually they don't do anything, you know. One place they call it Jigawa State People's Congress.
Okay.
It's established by the then government of Simon Traki. So they don't do anything in the place. It's in one remote, it's in one village on your way to Kiawa. It's called Andaza. That's where the office is. If you go, they don't even open the office. Then I said, let me utilize my time. Then I employed myself. That's what I used to tell people. Nobody employed me. I didn't go there to say I'm
looking for
I
a
want
job.
to be for. No, I just reported there, and I started working with the people that we were together when the lawyers that were there. Then I started going there, and I started working on myself, and nobody sent me away. And so that was how I started, and from there I worked in bank. Then after that I come back, but the relationship still remains. So is late Ali Umar is dead, but you saw his picture when coming in my office. And, Professor Nasur Ali is there, SAN. Then Justice Kabiru Dabo, who was there at that time. Professor Nasur Ali had left for China to do his PhD there. So that was how it started.
So you employed yourself. Was there any form of remuneration at the time?
Yeah, I went there at the time that it was immediately after the I think it was immediately after the election, and it's one of the firms that specialize in election petition. So at that time, no, we were there when it was time like this actually, because 2006, yes, November, that was when we started service. Then by February, March, there was election. Then there were election petition, a lot of them. Then we were doing them, and they were generous.
Wow. So, and while you were at that place, at that firm, did you handle any case on your own?
No, I was too young to handle a case on my own.
Okay.
Nobody can.
I mean, through the years that you worked there, through the years.
No, I told you I just went,
it was just service.
No, I did not handle a case. A serious law firm like that is cannot just hand over a case file to you.
Okay.
For you have to continue to work to do the pupillage, working under other senior lawyers. Then you do that time you do the drafting, you'll be guided, you do it. When you do, you'll be sent for the filing. Then, because those are the basic things that a lawyer should start learning how to do. You now familiarize yourself with the process of how to file processes, what are the things that are required. Then when the case is coming up, you go with your seniors to appear. You will announce the appearance. You now, if you are the most junior, you record the proceedings, and you now observe how he is conducting the proceedings and other senior lawyers who are conducting proceedings. So as time goes on, maybe 1 or 2 years, and it depends on the level of appreciation of your understanding of the law and how your bosses appreciate your effort. Then they will come to the conclusion that is old enough to handle some cases. Then you'll be sent to handle the cases.
Okay, so what was your experience too in these years that you were under other people, understudying them?
I'm still under other people.
I know, right? At the time, like you said, from 2006.
Yes, like I said, one thing that for me personally, once I and I know it's common with all other people. If I see somebody that I admire, I try to imitate him. Maybe the way he dresses, the way he speaks, the way he conducts himself. So those are the things that you see senior lawyers either in court or not in court. You see some that you admire, you think you want to be like them, so you try to imitate the way they do things. And in doing that, like I always say, I have never waited for me to be given instruction to do something. Sometimes I just try to read the mind of my boss to see that maybe there is a gap that I just pick and start doing. Yeah, I just pick and start doing the work. And maybe at the end of the day, you say thank you. I will say, no, why are you doing that? That is not how the way to do it. And nobody taught me that. I thank God I just so. And I think I grew up to realize that I'm being useful to my bosses up to now, because I have many of them. Like you see some of their pictures there. Okay. Even now, if they call me, they will give me instruction, do this. I will happily do it, and even I will leave what is my own to make sure that I satisfy those I consider my bosses.
That's great. And quickly, we'll take a short break. When we return, we get back to the conversation. We are taking a message from Hanana, Nigeria. Welcome back, and we're still on Connect the Dot, talking to a senior advocate of Nigeria, Sunusi Musa, who is practicing law for the past over 10 years, over a decade in Nigeria, and earned this position that is called Senior Advocate of Nigeria due to the kind of cases it's taken up in the past years that has been practicing this law. And going back into the conversation after speaking about where it started from, the education and all that, going back to the practice now. So you've won different cases, you've pursued cases to completion, like in the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. That must be like you've put a lot of effort to get to that point. Mm-hmm. So what were those things that keep you on and on and on to be going up to pursuing a Supreme Court case, aside the lower court cases that you went into?
I think it is the passion and the ambition, because those are the things that will always motivate someone to aspire for excellence. Mm-hmm. People should be ambitious in whatever they do, ambitious to reach the peak, and if they have that will make them to have passion for what they are doing. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, and they will persevere. Because once you get discouraged, then you cannot achieve whatever it is. Of course, it is difficult, but it is doable because others have done it. So why not? Once the human will is there, and you'll be able to do it, notwithstanding whatever are the difficulties that are put there. You continue to persevere and pray, you'll be able to achieve. So for me, that was it. I have the passion, and I realized that I want to get to the level of that I will be seen as somebody who is deserving the rank of senior advocate. So knowing that, I know that I have to put more effort, and I did that. Of course, it comes with a lot of sacrifice. Mm-hmm. You can see that lawyers hardly, their life is from office to court, then home. You stay long, you stay late in the office, 6, 7, 8, 9. You hardly leave office 6. Even a junior lawyer who's serious hardly leaves office by 6. Always 9, 10. You go home, you sleep, and you have to leave home by 8 latest, because you have to be at the court by before 9, because the judges normally 6 by 9, so you have to be there before the time.
Yeah. So what are these sacrifices? Like, you've distinguished yourself to get to this position.
Yeah.
What are those sacrifices that you've made that you think were what made the LPPC see that you're a distinguished person to give this position of SAN?
Well, the LPPC normally issue guidelines, and under the guidelines that I was conferred with the rank, together with 61 others, it was issued in 2018.
Okay.
And in there they have stated all what you are supposed to do, which based on that, and they would now, you put your application, and your application will be evaluated, and it will be filtered, first filtration, second filtration, then the final filtration, then it will be considered. After that, then those of you that were able to scale through those hurdles, then you will be considered, and also then what the marks you get, you'll be chosen among them to be given the senior advocate. Of course, it is not an easy task, but I just don't like to say it's not an easy task, because so that you not discourage others. It is doable. It is doable with determination and perseverance and with prayers. You just be able to just know what you want, and pursue it with all what you have. Then God will be there for you.
Bismillah. So like those cases that you've taken up to the Supreme Courts, which one was the challenging one, and you were all out there to see that you get to the end of it and get success at the end?
I think there is a case that I did at the lower court, that is at the high court level. I prosecuted a rapist.
Okay.
And I prosecuted the case, but when the judgment was pronounced on him, I was really disturbed.
Wow.
Two things, when we were starting the case, the first day he was brought to court, he was handcuffed. So I think the key to remove the handcuff had some problem. So the prison warder was not able to remove it. So he brought him inside the court with it. I was saying, remove it. Why are you bringing him with that? Then he explained, and he came to whisper to me that it is his son. It was shocking to me. And
the prison warder?
Yes, he told me that the boy or the guy is his son, the suspect, and he works in the prison, and his son is being remanded, and he is now, it is his lot to be bringing him to court for prosecution.
Oh my God.
That was very, very disturbing to me. And we went through the trial, and when he was behind where I was sitting, when my Lord pronounced that she had sentenced him to life imprisonment, he said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." That really touched me, and that was it. Then after leaving the court, the father of the girl, because she's I think a nursery school, and the guy, he came to work in the
parents.
No, yeah, they came to the town he came as a worker. He's not from there, so he put she was a student, a pupil in the school where that guy teaches. And I think the lecturers, the principal of the school and all the other teachers were trying to cover it up, because when we are calling them to give account, to give evidence, I realized that they don't want to say the truth, so I forget about them. But we put in the medical personnel that examined, and the girl also testified, and he was convicted. So I think from the time the prison warder told me it's his son, I was really touched, because for somebody who also gave birth to children, you be disturbed to see that how can now it is a lot of a father to be bringing his own child to court for prosecution. Then when that pronounced one was made, I was really disturbed. Then later, the father of the girl sent me a text thanking me. He said he was very happy that day. Because for one, when the incident happened, he cried, because he was blaming himself that he could not protect his daughter, and but he promised himself that he will pursue this to the conclusion. And he was subjected to many other things, being not from the town where the thing happened, but he was a fulfilled person that day, having that conviction that at least now he is able to get justice for the daughter. He prayed for me, said things, and I said, okay, thank you very much. And we keep on talking, and I know it's normal with people. He said that he wants to give me something. I said, no, thank you, I don't want anything from you. I did it pro bono for the state, and I don't. So that is one case, and I think there is a case in the Supreme Court which is a pre-election matter. We are not supposed to be. That is why you are not expected to take cases of your relatives, and so that you'll be detached emotionally from it. It was a case that I really felt bad about the judgment at the Supreme Court when the judgment was pronounced, and because I felt that because of the time limit put by the Constitution, the justices of the Supreme Court were not able to digest the case and understand it well, because they have only 2-3 days for them to decide, and there were too many cases. So I felt that judgment couldn't have been that way, because I know of other judgments that were not like that, because it's like I felt bad, actually. I felt bad, but as God will have it, it happened that way. There is nothing that you can do about that.
May Allah continue to make it easy. This is really a daunting task to pursue a case to a logical conclusion and feel bad that because you're a Muslim and someone is saying that we came from Allah and we will return to Allah.
And
in that kind of situation,
because that is what is enjoined by the Quran, that those who find themselves in trying times, this is what they normally do. So you now I just feel for him, and personally my experience in prosecuting some of the rape cases, which I did pro bono in Jakarta, I think made me to have a rethink of the issue of the life imprisonment as a punishment. I think we should find a better
pronouncement, or
yes, I think it's too harsh.
Verdict.
It's too harsh, more especially where, for instance, the victims are not small children like this one, because you realize that there are some of the cases actually it's not a rape, so to say, but because the law says it's a rape, because if she's below 14 years, so even if she consent, it will still be considered as a rape legally. So you have cases like that, which you see that really, and there was a case that I did also, which personally I don't want anyway, I was not able to prove the case. The guy was acquitted, and he was acquitted because we could not find the victim to testify. And what happened? They were nervous, So they end up having a sexual relationship. She got pregnant. Then there was agreement that he will marry her by the traditional rulers in the village. Then he reneged on that. They reported him. He was arrested. Then because of that pregnancy, she was being subjected to, she was being stigmatized in the society. Now she ran away.
Wow.
Only God knows where she is, because
I pray she's alive anyways.
Yeah, even if she's alive, maybe she's now commercial sex worker or something like that. So now when you have such experience, I thought it would be better when you have such cases for the government to come in and ensure that such lovers that went into that unintentional and having that unintentional pregnancy, instead of convicting a 20-year-old child to a 20-year-old boy to life imprisonment, and now the girl of 14 or 15 years that he has impregnated, leaving her to be stigmatized in the society, thus the product of that sexual relationship will also be stigmatized for being a bastard child. I think it will be more better if we find a way of making sure that the two got married after she gave birth. According to the dictate of the religion, so that at least, even if that son is not son of it, now at younger age you don't subject him to life imprisonment, because maybe by the time he spent 10-20 years life imprisonment, even if you release him, the best part of his life has been wasted in prison. And that boy now, we don't know what will happen to him and the mother. Those are things that I think, because I think sometimes we do legislation based on the spur of the moment, or because some people, like the people in the advocacy, that will think that yes, it's quite painful, more especially for small children to be
raped.
To be raped. But then we have when justice is a three-way traffic, for the victim, for the accused, and for the society. So we must find a way of balancing the situation so that we'll have a more just and fair society.
Wow, that's a loss, because I'm even still trying to digest the whole process.
Exactly. It was a terrible experience.
Yeah, actually. It is really. Was there any point you feel like, because from your profile I see that you do human rights advocacy too, and support people, like you said, you've represented people pro bono, free of charge, because you're trying to give back to the society. What in that cause? I'm sure that in cases of rape, maybe you've got threats or something, that why did you take on this certain case or something like that? Never experienced
a threat like that, actually. Never.
Okay. So it's been...
No, I've never experienced a threat. Maybe inducement. Somebody that I prosecuted, who is also a rapist, and I was not happy I couldn't get judgment to convict him, because I don't know how he got to my number. I keep sending me cases, texts, thinking that he will influence me not to prosecute the case. But at the end of the day, the judge found that I did not prove the case. Well, so be it. But I was not happy that they said that, because it's one case that I think that the guy, because by trying to think that he will influence the prosecutor, I think he must have something that...
definitely.
But even that case, I was not happy, because I tried to push for the medical personnel that did the examination to come and testify, but the bureaucracy in government hospitals made him not to come. I'm telling them to explain that this is that he was adamant, the medical doctor, unfortunately. So we ended up not proving the case.
Okay. Was there any point you feel like you will not be taking cases of rape and others like that because of your experience, especially with the boy that was prosecuted, sent to life imprisonment, and the other young lady that ran away? Did you
actually, you know, some of the cases will personally, I think I doubt if I can be a defense lawyer to a rapist.
Okay.
That was my intention before, but then maybe now, having done some prosecution and seeing that, you know, sometimes we also lawyers, like any other, we get carried away emotionally by it, because, you know, every story has two sides. So you once you get to understand the two sides, you'll appreciate some of the things. But as time goes on, you know, as lawyers, we don't have this cab rank rule. You know, you take your client as you meet him.
Okay.
You don't choose who is your client. It's the person that comes to you. An alleged rapist will come tomorrow, an alleged armed robber will come, and the next tomorrow a victim of armed robbery will come, and a victim of 419 will come, and the next day an alleged 419 suspect will also come. So you do your best to defend the cases that comes out, because you take your client as you meet them. You don't choose who will be your client.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and lastly, what's your message to young people in your profession? Because you've done your due diligence to attain this level that you're in, but you know there is the get-rich-quick syndrome among some young people. Like, okay, I'm practicing law. Law is not something that you just get rich all of a sudden.
Anything.
Yeah, you need to
get rich.
Yeah, apparently because of technology, some people use technology and they get rich as quick. But for law, you need to put all the work in. Yeah. So, what advice would you give to a young lawyer?
I think what I always say is that my life, because my circumstances of birth, my family background, all this, I think it's a testimony of the fact that with determination and perseverance, anybody, irrespective of the circumstances of your birth, irrespective of who are your parents, irrespective of your family background, you can be whatever you want to be in Nigeria. I'm from very, very extremely poor background, and but with perseverance and determination, I am where I am today, and also at a relatively young age, because among all the people that were given, I think I'm the 6th most junior.
Wow.
So I think getting it, of course, at age of 44 is something that is
it's a big achievement, right?
Of course, it is. So once people, if they can, young people, just do their best. And like I used to tell people, it's good, like money, and it's not a crime. All of us like money. Me too, I like money. But then we must have it at the back of our mind that to be rich or not to be rich is not something that within the control of any human being.
Yeah.
Because maybe it is the blessing of God that will make a work that maybe I will charge 10 million naira. Another senior lawyer will charge 200 million naira.
Absolutely.
And people will go and pay him.
Absolutely.
Maybe, and I will do it at 10. Or somebody down there will charge 100,000 to go and do it.
Absolutely.
but you know, actually, but the most important thing, you just have to know, you know, the basics as whatever you are doing. I mean, strive for excellence. If you are a lawyer, there are so many branches of law. If it's litigation you want to do, know that you know the basics of litigation, and you know it. If you want to be a solicitor, know how to do it. So many things you can do, and you can do, if you are a medical doctor, but you just have to be different. Because if you want to succeed, you cannot do it like others are doing
it.
Yes, if you continue to do it like others are doing it, then you must create that. You must cut a niche for yourself. You must show the difference between you and them. How you do it, it is for you to determine. How you approach your client, how you treat their cases, how you explain it to them, how many other things that they will appreciate that this is different from any other lawyer. And you can only do that if you appreciate the law, if you appreciate their case and apply the laws in it. If you don't know those things, you may not be able to do it.
And quickly, it was supposed to be your last one, but quickly, in what way would you describe the Nigerian justice system?
Nigerian justice system?
Yes.
You see, it is very difficult for you to describe it in just a short time like this. But I know, like any other things, the justice system in Nigeria needs a lot of improvement. It needs, and not only in Nigeria, anywhere, it needs a lot of improvement on all the stakeholders in the justice administration. But normally those who get the blame are the judges. But then my experience shows me it's not only the judges, because a judge is only one part of the entire
team
administration of justice. The lawyers are there. Those who appear, if it is a civil case, for the lawyers on both sides. If it is a criminal case, the Ministry of Justice are there, the police are there, So all of them, and more especially for the criminal cases, it is you get conviction based on the investigation carried out by the police, and that is not also enough. Based on the seriousness put in prosecuting the cases by the state council, those who work in the Ministry of Justice. Most of them tend to have this I don't care attitude. And the judge, at the end of the day, what will the judge do? He will have nothing to do. And like I always say, the lawyers in the Ministry of Justice, they don't understand that they are the ones that are sitting on
cases.
They are sitting on, what do you call this? What do they call it? When you sit on a keg of a gold, it has this, for becoming a senior advocate, those in the Ministry of Justice, they have the cases, they have everything. The government provides you with the cases. They do this. Yes, you say that salary is not enough, but yes, out of that salary, you can be able to do what is good. And after all, if you think it's not enough, why are you still staying there? Leave. Leave. So that you can go to where you think you have a bigger salary. But you stay there, you don't do the work. You now waste 35 years without learning anything, without impacting on the society. Whereas if you put to about the most easiest way for you to become a senior advocate is when you are in the Ministry of Justice, because the cases are there. Some of the requirements that are required from the private practitioners, which is quite money consuming, you don't have that because the government has the facilities. It's just for you to use the facilities of government, but you must be serious for you to achieve that, because you just can't become a senior advocate if you are not a serious lawyer, because the process is quite tedious and very tasking indeed. Yeah.
Many thanks for joining us on this week's Connect the Dots. It's been amazing speaking with you and tapping from your wealth of experience. Hopefully we come back again and do another session. Bismillah.
Thank you very much. Anytime.
So thank you.
I am happy to receive you.
Thank you so much. So
and I also want to commend you for doing a good job.
Thank you.
It's not easy. I like to see ladies that are really trying to pursue excellence, more especially from this part of the country, and showing that they can do things, despite the stigmatization and
Absolutely.
victimization. But I think I hope the people will see in people like you that you are really the symbol of decency in northern Nigeria.
Thank you
Those
so much.
that are trying to do their best in their profession and not forgetting from where they are. I commend you for
Thank
that,
you
and
so
I wish
much.
you all the best.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
This means a lot to me. And
Yeah.
on this note, we call it a wrap on Connect the Dot this week. We've spoken with a senior advocate of Nigeria, Malam Sunusi Musa, who's given us a lot on what law profession is like in Nigeria. And we'll be coming back again next time. And ding ding, connect the dots with us again next week. Bye for now.